It's something that doesn't make sense. Something anyone may possess, but the moment you obtain it, it ceases to exist. Anyone can have one, but when you open your eyes, it will vanish without a trace. I don't have a clue. I slumped over my desk. To solve the riddle, the first thing I did was grab a dictionary and look up the meanings of each word. But while I understood their meanings just fine, I couldn't see the bigger picture they were hinting at. Sup, dude? What you looking at a dictionary for? Hey, are you good at riddles? What? Riddles? Dumb question, I know. See, I had a riddle posed to me, and I have no clue how to solve it. By who? That one kid? Yeah. You really like him, huh? What's going on with his parents, anyway? I don't know. He won't tell me. Well, if you ever see any major red flags, you should probably report it to Child Protective Services. Yeah, I know. I felt bad, having to be told something that was so patently obvious. If only I were more assertive, I could have taken action directly instead of playing this stupid game. So, what's the riddle? It's something that doesn't make sense. Something anyone may possess, but the moment you obtain it, it ceases to exist. Anyone can have one, but when you open your eyes, it will vanish without a trace. I don't get it. I think I might. For real? What is it? It's pretty simple, actually. The answer is, don't tell me! I cut in loudly, purely on reflex. You can tell each other, but not me. Got it? How come? You're the one who wanted the answer, right? So what's the problem? I gotta find the answer myself, or there's no point in doing it at all. My friend stared at me, mouths agape, and then... What a goody-goody! Classic Ryoushi! Get bent!
Whoa! That escalated quickly. Ryoushi yelling, get bent. Double biff to the face.
With that, I punched both of them.
And then I was expelled from school.
It would be all too easy to get the answer from someone else. But Snow White was a smart kid. He'd know I didn't figure it out myself. And even a dense idiot like me could see that it would hurt him.
Aw, Ryoushi, too pure for this world.
A riddle is a quiz in which clever wordplay is generally the answer. I think I get the gist. Basically, you want me to figure out what it is, right?
Well, what is it?
As I sat there unable to answer, he slumped his shoulders.
Fine. You leave me no choice. I'll give you a little hint. It can mean different things, but it can also mean the same thing. Well, figured it out yet?
How could I possibly figure it out from that?
God, Huntsman, you're so dumb.
As usual, I gave him a light smack.
I like how Snow White's reaction to the smack is just getting more and more muted over time. It started out as like, ow, what the heck? To just like, not even a triple dot anymore. Just like, this happens all the time. Seeing as you gave me a book the other day, I had assumed you liked to read.
Sure, I read. But only boring shit like reference books.
What about when you were a kid? What did you read back then?
At this, I dug back through my memories, but nothing stood out to me. I don't remember.
Well, try.
Is this your way of giving me a hint?
Who knows? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Alright, smartass.
Once you know the answer, it'll all make sense.
If I knew the answer, I wouldn't need your hints.
Ugh, how are you so Ah! And he reacted.
I smacked him again for good measure. And this time, I preempted his snarky comment.
Sheesh, you're so violent.
He grumbled bitterly. Because you're being a brat.
Did you hit your sister all the time, too?
No, just you. Obviously, it wouldn't be right to hit a girl.
Ha! You're not a real big brother. You're not a real brother at all. Come on, you gotta get into scuffles. Trust me. Just me?
He wasn't usually very outwardly expressive, but for once he actually smiled. Maybe that was what reminded me of the gift I'd brought. Here, have a new book.
Thanks.
As he took it, he beamed gleefully. You sure look happy.
No, I'm not.
Oh, really? It was far too late for him to play it cool. I smirked at him.
You make me so mad.
Oh! And he smacked me with the book.
Such violence. These two are so violent with each other.
The next day, I used every ounce of brain power to contrast Snow White's hint with the existing riddle. Think, damn it. It's just like a crossword puzzle. Anyone can have one, but when you open your eyes, it vanishes without a trace. Vanishes. I've got it! It's snow, right?
Nope. Wrong answer.
I was so confident that I'd figured it out. It pissed me off to hear that I was flat out wrong. Back to the drawing board.
You're so dense, Huntsman.
I'm not good at this stuff, alright?
You're trying too hard. You need to think outside the box.
Outside the box, he says. If I was capable of that, then I wouldn't have to struggle. In more ways than one. A few days later, Snow White started to take pity on my ineptitude.
He really wanted you to solve it. Has your sister ever begged you to read her a bedtime story?
Another question about my damn sister.
Yep. Another question.
No, she's never asked for that. Like I said, there's an age gap between us, so I haven't really talked to her much.
And yet you know that she likes to read. I bet if I asked her the riddle, she would have answered right away.
The comparison to my sister pissed me off, but I didn't let it show.
Oops. Went a little too far there. Hold on. Brrrp.
Nevertheless, he looked at me and smirked like he could see right through me.
You're a lot like me, Huntsman. You hate the color red, and you've come to resent your fairy tale protagonist.
I don't get what you're talking about.
You sure about that?
Yeah. Then it hit me. Was he referring to Alice in Wonderland? After all, I'd always despised my surname for sounding so similar. Feminine, cutesy, different from my aesthetic in every way.
Damn. I mean, you're right.
Is that why you're so interested in my sister? Because her name is Arisa? He lowered his gaze. Always so quick to clam up when I turn the tables on you, hmm? Just you wait. I vow to you, I'm gonna solve your damn riddle. And then I'm gonna... The rest of the sentence didn't come. In all my stubbornness, what was I about to say to him? I'm gonna... what? The silence continued for a while longer. When I finally looked over at him, I found him looking back at me.
I know you can do it. After all, it was the huntsman who saved both Snow White and Red Riding Hood. Damn! Damn! Pew, 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 pew. That got me right in the feels. Oof. Oof. Snow White. I swear.
The next thing I knew, Snow White was nowhere to be seen. Where am I? I looked around. I was at the lake at night, just like always.
Someone help! A kid fell into the lake!
I could hear a voice shouting. When I looked over at the lake, the once still waters were churning violently. And at the center of the vortex was Snow White, slowly sinking into the void.
Help me! Help me, huntsman!
Snow White! No! I dove into the lake and swam out to him. You're gonna be okay, kid. Just hold on tight.
Okay.
Once he had a firm grip on my back, I swam back to the pier. You alright? As soon as we climbed onto the pier, he started coughing. And when I looked into his eyes, I froze.
Yeah. Thanks, Ryoushi.
It's you. I recognized his face. It was the kid in the brown hood, the one I'd rescued once before. But then where was...
I'm right here, huntsman.
Snow White? He was standing a short distance from the two of us. Thank God! I'm glad you're safe. But as I rushed over to him in relief, he backed away.
I lied to you, sir.
Rarely was his voice this cold and hard. What?
At the time, I claimed to be Woolfe when that was not the case.
What are you talking about? He sounded so different all of a sudden. Almost like I was talking to someone else altogether.
But you're dreaming. Right? Like, I assume this is a dream. How are you getting the vibes of talking to someone else altogether?
Then, abruptly, he switched back to his usual detached expression.
Huntsman, help me.
Grimacing in pain, he shook his head. His pale, bony body began to melt into the darkness of night.
No. I don't want to die. Please, don't kill me! Help me! I'll sleep at the bottom of the lake and never go home again! I promise!
Snow White! The next thing I knew, I was lying in bed. Oh, just a dream. Why would I dream about that?
Yeah, why would you dream about that? That was, like, very on the nose. I mean, he is studying to be a therapist. I guess it's not completely out of left field that he might have picked up on some vibes, but still, a little sus of that. A little too on the nose.
After catching my breath, I ran a hand through my hair. And when my mind returned to reality, something stood out to me. Dream. That's it! A dream!
Hell of a way to figure out the riddle, man. Damn.
As I headed to the lake, my legs felt like lead. Part of it was the weird dream, but more than that, I wasn't looking forward to what would happen after I solved the riddle. I wanted to know the truth, but at the same time I really didn't. Because once I found out, there would be no going back. When I arrived, Snow White was sitting on the edge of the pier zoning out. I wasn't sure when to speak up, but it wasn't like this was the last time we'd ever see each other. His home life probably wasn't as bad as I feared it was.
Well, it wasn't what you were thinking, but it was pretty bad.
I'd always had a bad habit of seeing the worst-case scenario in everything. I took a shallow breath and sat down next to him. I finally figured it out. Something anyone may possess, but the moment you obtain it, it ceases to exist. Anyone can have one, but when you open your eyes, it will vanish without a trace. The answer is a dream.
Correct.
He smiled serenely at me. All at once, sweet relief flooded my chest. Oh!
I'm impressed you finally got it. I thought you never would.
Liar. You were giving me hints the whole damn time, weren't you? Now that I knew the answer, it was all so obvious to me. Every offhand comment Snow White made was indirectly connected to dreams. Dreams about the future. Dreams at bedtime. Two different things, yet also the same. I don't know why you had me do this, but a promise is a promise, kid. You better stop coming out here by yourself at night.
Huntsman, why do you think a kid like me is out here so late?
After a beat, I answered. Because you don't want to be at home, right?
Right. Just like you.
Is it your parents? If they're hurting you or something?
No.
He shook his head. And I remembered reading that abused children often defend their parents.
It's my fault. I disobeyed my mother. She told me not to go outside, but I didn't listen. I'm a bad kid. It's no wonder Mother hates me now.
He wrapped his arms around himself. I was afraid he would vanish into the night, just like in my dream. Where is your mom right now? At home?
Yeah.
Fine then, let's go. I rose to my feet and extended a hand to him.
Go where?
To your house. I know it's rude to barge into a stranger's home in this day and age, but at this point, I can't pretend this doesn't concern me. Yeah, you probably should have obeyed your mother, but for whatever it's worth, I don't think you're a bad kid at all.
But what if it turns out I am?
Then I'll shoulder the blame right along with you. There was only so much I could do for him. I knew that. But all hesitation had now vanished. If Snow White needed me, then I wanted to do everything in my power to help. He gazed at my hand for a long moment, then stood up without my assistance.
Whoever fights with monsters should see to it that he does not become a monster in the process. For if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you.
What? Where did that come from?
You don't recognize it? It's a quote from that book you gave me.
Ah. Come to think of it, that does sound vaguely familiar. So, what about it?
You're too nice to me, Huntsman.
He walked past me and toward the forest. Hey! Where are you? As I shouted after him, he stopped and looked over his shoulder.
Come on, Huntsman.
It's time for you to receive your prize. I'm going to show you my secret.
Oh boy, I'm so anxious and worried. What are we gonna see? From Ryoshi's point of view.
He resumed walking, so I gave chase. Hey, where are we going?
Just shut up and follow me.
He led me boldly into the dark forest. As instructed, I walked along in silence, gazing at his small frame from behind.
There it is. That cursed place. We're here.
This place. At last, we arrived at a small cottage in the woods. It seemed more like a summer home than a regular house. Summer homes were commonplace here after all. The windows were all dark, suggesting no one was home. And considering how dark the forest was, it was starting to seem like a haunted house. My heart raced in my chest. It felt like the whole area was cut off from the rest of the world.
Welcome to my home. You're the first visitor we've ever had.
Why does it... The instant he opened the door, a gut-wrenching smell rushed out, and I quickly covered my nose.
I'm home, Mother. I brought a friend with me today.
Snow White vanished into the darkness within. Now my heart was pounding like crazy. Don't do it, it warned me. Don't go in there. Or you... The slightest intake of breath made me want to puke. I remembered what my professor had once said during a lecture. The human body is primarily composed of organic compounds, and upon death, bacteria dismantles the tissues of the body into gases, liquids, and salts. The smell of a human corpse contains over 400 volatile organic compounds.
What's wrong? Get over here already.
In the darkness, Snow White's voice was eerily calm. Have you lost your mind?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, Huntsman. Right, Mother?
He turned and spoke to something next to him. Is that... I couldn't see clearly, but whatever it wasn't a person.
This is my mother. My only family.
A shiver ran down my spine. If Snow White honestly believed that was his mother, then he was deeply broken.
Mother, this is Ryoshi Arasa. Doesn't his name remind you of your favorite fairy tale protagonist? He has a little sister, too. I just know you'd like her. Even I can tell she looks like a princess.
Hold on a minute! When I shouted, he turned his empty eyes on me. Now listen here. That may have been your mother at one point, but not anymore. Even I could hear the quaver in my voice. I wanted to take action, but my feet were rooted to the ground in terror.
It's not.
You can talk to it all you want, but it won't talk back. Because that's not a person. It's a corpse!
So she's dead, huh? Say, Huntsman, what is death anyway? I mean, sure, she's not beautiful anymore. But in my heart, she's still pretty. In my heart, she still loves me. So can you truly say that she's dead?
Damn right I can! You may have your memories of her, but without a living body of her own, she's not alive! I tried desperately to convince him, but it fell on deaf ears.
If you need your own body to count as alive, then maybe I'm dead too.
What are you even...
Oh, I know. We can share the apple pie Mother made for me. Want some?
Stop! Don't do it! Ignoring my commands, he grabbed something off the table and ate it. But his body rejected it, and he spat it up on the spot. By this point, I could stand it no longer.
I still don't understand why there's a giant bird cage in this summer home. I don't understand. This is reality. This isn't even like symbolism anymore. Why is there a giant bird cage in this cottage? I don't understand. Make it make sense. It's not symbolism anymore. I'm losing my mind.
As I walked into the dark room, I bumped into something. But whatever it was, it didn't matter right now.
Also, can I just... Okay. There's trash. We can see the trash. I'm like, is the body here anywhere? Nope. Okay.
But whatever it was, it didn't matter right now.
Yeah, I guess I can't eat it anymore.
Come with me! I grabbed him by the arm. He looked at me in wide-eyed surprise.
I can't. Now do you understand? I lost my sanity a long time ago.
That's not...
Who killed Mother? It was me. I killed Mother. With that in mind, do you still want to help me?
You're damn right I do. I don't know what happened here, but like I said earlier, I don't think you're a bad kid. Yes, you have a foul mouth and an attitude problem. Yes, you're a fickle little brat. I've never liked kids, and talking to you hasn't changed that. But the more time I spent with you, the more fun I started to have. Why? Because you're a good person who cares about others. Why else? You're always thinking of other people. You care about me, and you even care about a little girl you've never even met. You know, despite our age difference, I've come to think of you as a friend, or like a little brother. I don't know what you've been through, but at the very least, I can hear you out. Desperately, I blinked back tears. My heart was breaking for him. How could I have been so blind all this time? He looked at me and chuckled.
Thanks. I think of you as a friend too. You said you're not fit to be a hunter, but I think you might be wrong about that. Sure, you're tactless, outspoken, nosy, and utterly dense. But you carry yourself with conviction and a strong sense of compassion. It's not like a hunter's entire job is to look at blood all day, right?
Then just... come with me, I wanted to say. It might be hard at first, but eventually you'll heal. I couldn't prove a word of it, of course, but I wanted to say it anyway. Except he shook me off before I could.
Sorry to say, I'm going to die here.
What? What are you... Then he grabbed something off the table. Squinting, I could make out something that looked like a pie.
Do you know what this is? It's my poison apple. You know, like in the fairy tale with the princess as white as snow. Surely even you must know that one. Then again, I'm a guy, so I can't be a princess. With one bite, Snow White will cease to exist.
Cease to exist? Reflexively, I scoffed. It was all so surreal I was starting to lose touch with reality.
Stay back!
When I tried to approach him, he roared back at me.
This is for the best. As long as I'm around, everyone who isn't me will be miserable. If I can shoulder the burden of these painful memories so no one else has to, then so be it. Huntsman, thank you for everything. Our time together was short, but I had fun. Thanks to you, I now have some happy memories of my very own. Memories I don't have to share.
In that moment, I felt something was viscerally wrong. It felt like I had overlooked something critical, but I didn't know what.
Oh, and about the cigarettes. I figured it out. You hate smoking, but you do it anyway so you can have at least one thing in common with your parents, right? You wanted to prove to the world that you really are their son. Trust me, I can relate. Because I feel the same way.
It seemed I'd been operating under a misconception. I thought Snow White was insane, but I was wrong. He was sane, and if I had to guess, he understood everything perfectly well. That was why he went out of his way to tell me these things.
Oh, and your sister, Yurika Arasa. I wish I could have met her. Bye-bye.
Then he took a bite of his apple pie. Snow White! His body slumped sideways, and on reflex I reached out to catch him. Snow White! Hey! Snap out of it, Snow White! I called to him again and again, but he wouldn't wake. Still breathing. He's not actually dead. I scooped him into my arms and carried him out of the building as fast as I could. His body was cold and practically weightless. If only I could have realized sooner. I'm so sorry. From there, Snow White was taken to the hospital, and I remained behind at the scene to give my account to the police. By the time I got home, it was well past midnight. I wanted to sleep, but took a shower instead. I could still smell it. The next day, the incident was reported in the local newspaper. Police identified the corpse as a woman in her late 20s or 30s, and she'd been dead for at least a month.
She was so young, man. I mean, I knew she was young, but dang, she was young.
She had no external wounds, so they suspected suicide or natural causes, and were now looking into her identity. The article didn't mention Snow White whatsoever. In a way, it broke my heart. It felt like they were all pretending he didn't exist.